So, have you ever tried to drop weight and you drop the weight, but you gain it right back and some? Do you get frustrated because with the pandemic, the average weight gain for most people has been 15 to 20 pounds and it's only getting worse? Well, today I'm really excited because my featured expert is somebody who actually gained a lot of weight in his life. He was what we could call a couch potato and maybe a lazy boy potato where he just didn't do much because the excess weight was really dragging him down until he decided to make a huge life change called plant-based eating. Today, my guest, Olivier Mankondo, has a story to tell of how he lost 35 kilos, which equals, I had to look this up because we go in pounds here, close to 80 pounds of excess weight. And today he's out crushing it. He's a keynote speaker, he's an author, and he's doing some pretty amazing things. So, Olivier, welcome to the show.
Are you ready to live the life you deserve? Do you want to feel vibrantly healthy and reach your optimal weight without dieting while being kind to animals and the planet? Then you're in the right place at the right time. Welcome to Plant-Based Eating for Health with your host, certified plant-based nutritionist, Kathleen Gage.
Thank you very much for having me, Kathleen.
You bet. Well, I'm curious, tell us how you came to gain all the weight and then how you came to actually find plant-based eating.
Yeah. So what happened is, since I've been born, I've been eating like everybody else. I've been eating animal product, dairy product, processed food, fast food, junk food, anything. And I remember even in the past, when it was close to midnight, I was still eating. I would have my bottle of Coke with some biscuit or some cookies and stuff like that. So even though I was 220 pounds, for me, it was not really a problem because, I've grown up in Africa and for African people being big is not really a problem. So it was not for me a problem. It's just one day I was watching a program by an Indian Yogi. His name is Sadguru. And I was watching that. It was a certain Wednesday and he was talking about how do we need to eat consciously. And he was saying that animal product was really not designed for the human mechanism. And that really hit me. And I said that I was going to change. And I said to my wife that I would stop eating meat. It was, like I said, on a Wednesday. And on a Thursday, when I came back from work, I asked her to cook me my last meal of meat. And it's been 5 years. I've not touched meat anymore.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I love what you said about the conscious eating because we're going to talk about that. And the longer that I've been plant-based, now I call myself a vegan. At first, I didn't want to call myself a vegan, but I realized there's a very spiritual conscious level to this way of eating, this way of living. And now you went from 220 pounds to what do you weigh now?
143 pounds.
Wow, that's amazing. And now, did you consciously diet or did the weight just drop off?
When I started this, I didn't even know that something good will happen to me. I've had no idea. So what happened is the first week when I started, because when you were eating the way I was eating, I was not in good health because I was suffering from high blood pressure. I had massive headaches every day or every other day, and the headache was so bad that I had to have some painkiller with me wherever I was. I had dandruffs, chest pain, back pain, abscesses, joint pain. And when I decided to stop eating all this food, I didn't know that all the benefit will come. So on the first week, I had massive headaches, abscesses, cold sore. And I was, my weight starting to change. So in the first week, I lost 11 pounds. And from that, I said, wow, this is incredible. And as long as the time was passing, I was starting to notice that my health was getting better. I was starting to feel more energetic. And 4 months into this plant-based, I went to my doctor and he was really surprised that my blood pressure was gone because I was told that I was going to be on medication for the rest of my life. So
That's incredible. And, we have a similar story because I actually had gotten up to 212 pounds and at my heaviest weight. And when I started eating plant-based, I started because I had really bad inflammation. And I didn't realize that a byproduct of changing the way I was eating with plant-based, that I would lose weight because I gave up on diets. I had been a yo-yo dieter all my life. And you talked about the headaches. It was probably about a year into eating plant-based that one day I was at the dentist and I had my mouth open for several hours because he was doing some pretty major work. And I got this splitting headache. And I realized that in the past, when I was eating animal-based products, I used to get headaches on a daily basis. It had been a year since I had had a headache. So that was something I didn't even realize. Now, when you made the change, did your wife willingly go along with this decision, or did she give you some pushback? And what was the experience with your relationship?
Yeah. First of all, when I decided to change my way of eating, I didn't want to force them. I just said that I will do that myself. And 2 weeks after I started, she could see the change, and she said that she was going to change as well, because at that time her weight was 240 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. So she said that she was going to change as well. So it was 2 weeks after I changed, and a month after, we saw that it was so good that we sat our kids and we told them that all the family will go in plant-based. At first, they was not happy, but now they are used to it, and there was not a problem anymore. And my wife, for example, she's lost 99 pounds.
Oh my gosh. Well, you need to put pictures up of your wife too. I mean, that's pretty incredible. On your website, which we'll talk about that in a moment, you have a before and after picture, and it's so evident just the vibrancy that you have now compared to when you were 220 pounds. That's incredible.
And I've been able as well to slow down my aging process. When people look at me, they think that maybe I'm in my late 20s, but I'm 51.
That's incredible. Like me, I'm going to be 67 in a month and a half. And it's like, I don't feel 67. I don't feel like I look like it. I run on a daily basis. So that's pretty phenomenal. So what is your average food intake on any given day? Like, walk us through what you eat for breakfast all the way through the end of the day. And what can you recommend to people who are interested in making this kind of change for them to jump on board with something like this?
Yeah. So basically for me, I only eat twice a day. I do intermittent fasting, but I do that a little bit different from other people. Other people, they will not eat maybe for 16 hours, and for 8 hours, for a window of 8 hours, they will eat whatever they want, or how many times they want. But for me, I only eat twice a day. And why do I do that? It's because when we eat, we spend 80% of our energy digesting food. And when you are digesting food, it's not possible for your body to heal and cleanse. And it's like, for example, if you've got your car, you get it to the garage, you cannot drive it at the same time. So the healing process can only be done when you're not digesting food. And that's why I only eat twice a day and nothing in between. So I don't have any snacks or things like that. So I will eat at 12, and at 12, it's only fruit, a variety of fruit. And at night, I will eat, it's usually around 7. And I eat 14 meals a week. Out of those 14 meals, 11 will be raw and only 3 will be cooked, because
that's incredible. I love it. I think that's phenomenal, because I'm actually taking notes, because I want to give my body more of a rest than I have been, because I do tend to snack. And even though I'm plant-based, I can see patterns that are self-sabotaging patterns. And so it's kind of one of the things I love about the people that I bring onto the show is they share their insights with me that allow me to say, oh, that would be something to consider. And I'm going to give that a shot. So 2 meals a day, fruits for your first meal at about noon. And then your second meal is at 7 p.m. 11 of your 14 meals are raw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I eat raw food because when you look at raw foods, they got live enzymes. So your body will not have to produce energy to produce those enzymes, because in raw food, you've got live enzyme. But when you cook the food, you destroy certain enzymes, you destroy certain vitamins and stuff like that. That's why I only eat three cooked meals. So for example, today it's Tuesday. So at night, I'm going to have a salad with fruit as well. So it's only on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays that I eat cooked food at 7. Yeah.
Okay.
All the time it's fruit, and at night it's salad or with fruit as well.
Excellent.
So that's how I eat.
Okay. And I want to remind people that this is Kathleen Gage with Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show, and I'm talking with Olivier Mankondo. And how do people reach you? What is your web address, and where can they find more information on you?
Yeah. So if they want to have more information on me, they can go to oliviermankondo.com. This is oliviermankondo.com.
Excellent. And we'll put that in the show notes for sure. So go ahead. Yeah,
and if they want to have more information, like I've just said, because I'm primarily a speaker, they can have more information over there, and they can have as well information on my online weight loss and wellness program. They can as well find my book, which is The Plant-Based Nutrition, How It's Going to Change Your Life. And I would like as well to give your listeners a free gift, which is 7 tips to lose weight. Excellent. I will send you the link, and then you can put that in the show notes so people can have that for free.
I will definitely put that in the show notes, and we'll make sure that people have access to that. Now, on your book, when did you write your book? It's called Plant-Based Nutrition.
The Plant-Based Nutrition, How It's Going to Change Your Life. Okay. I wrote the book in August 2019.
Okay. And what motivated you to write that book?
It's because with all the changes that I've seen, I've been able to cure myself of all the chronic diseases that I've had, and with no medication. I didn't take any medication. If you look at my brother as well, he's been able to lose 73 pounds. He was pre-diabetic. He was suffering from high blood pressure as well. And he had the psoriasis, which is a skin condition. Mm-hmm. And he had that for 8 years. And the doctor told him as well that he will have that for the rest of his life. And when I introduced him to this plant-based nutrition, it was gone with no medication as well. So with all this stuff, I said to myself that this is really some really important information. And I would like people to know that they can live a disease-free life. And for example, for the last 5 years, since I've been on this plant-based nutrition, I've not been sick a single day, not even the cold, the flu, the cough, nothing at all. And I wanted to pass this knowledge to people.
I love that. And, that actually leads into a discussion that I like to have with the experts I bring onto my show with the pandemic. Right now, obviously, we're still in the middle of the pandemic. We have no idea when the end is going to happen, if it'll ever happen. And it's been proven that pandemics are a direct result of factory farming, of wet markets, of animal-based products. And most of the people that I know, I would say 99% of the people I know who are 100% whole food plant-based, they don't get sick. They reverse diseases. Myself, I was high blood pressure. My doctor said, you're going to have a stroke if you're not careful. And, I think we fool ourselves into thinking that we're younger than we actually are. And the body goes through certain changes after the age of 50, and we can reverse that. What is your feeling and your experience around all the hype around the pandemic? And I don't want to minimize it. I am not minimizing it. I'm not minimizing somebody's choice to get the vaccine, whether they do or don't is their choice. But I do know that a lot of the cases of people who are dealing with complications, it has to do with being overweight. It has to do with comorbidity and other causes. So what is your feeling about all of that?
For me, what I think it's the terrain, which is the problem. If the terrain is good, your immune system is good, you don't have to worry about anything. It's like in my house, no one is sick. My wife is not sick, no one. And even my brother as well is not sick. So what I think is if you can take your immune system, you can deal with if your immune system is strong, you don't have to worry about the COVID or anything like that. And when the way you say as well that most people who suffer from this, you will see that they've got comorbidity. They suffer from diabetes, high blood pressure, maybe they've got problem with the kidneys and stuff like that. And when you look, you will see that all this is at a link with the way they eat. Always, there's got a link. For example, if you look at the way people eat the meat, the dairy product, and all this stuff, you will see that this will bring some diseases. But when you take all this food away from you, your immune system starts functioning correctly, and you don't have to worry about this thing. It's like this is my personal choice. When people ask me if I'm going to get the vaccine, I said no, because my body is working correctly. I've not been sick for the past 5 years. I don't see why I need to get the vaccine. My body, my immune system will be able to handle all these things. So I don't need that. I don't have to put poison in my body. And when you see, for 6 years, I've not taken even a pill in my body. So I don't see why I have to do that. And when you start eating the correct food, your body if you do a mistake, your body will tell you that straight away.
Absolutely.
And that's why I don't even want to take any medication or things like that.
And it's so interesting because that's a real hot topic right now and a real debatable topic, whether somebody should take the vaccine or not. And I think it's a personal choice. And what I find so interesting is that people will wait in line for hours. They go jump through all these hoops to get the vaccine, which again, it's their choice. And yet they won't change the way they're eating. They don't get to the underlying causes. And I think we could solve a lot of the problem if people would be more conscientious about what they put in their mouth. Now, I'm curious, how has your physical activity level changed since you went plant-based? I know myself, I do much more running. I'm much more active on any given day. On a weekend, I can go on a 3, 4, 5 mile run. Then I work in my yard for about 3 or 4 hours because we have a lot of acreage. And so there's plenty to do. I clean the house. I do so many different things. I have a lot of activity in my life now compared to how it used to be. What's changed for you?
Yeah, so for me, my energy level has skyrocketed because I remember in the past, when it was my day off, I would sleep until 1 in the afternoon.
You were a couch potato.
Yeah.
When I first said that, I know you thought I wasn't a couch potato. You were a couch potato. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I was sleeping like that. But now if I have to wake up in the morning, I'm always full of energy.
Right.
I don't feel tired anymore. I've got lots of things to do. For example, every day when I wake up, I have to do some stretching. I do the rebounder. Twice a week, I will walk for an hour. These things were impossible for me to do. So I was really, really tired all the time.
Right.
When you wake up in the morning, I had to drag myself to go to work. And all these things have completely disappeared. Now I'm 51, but I feel like I'm in my 20s.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: with your wife releasing all that weight, I'm sure she has much more energy now. What kind of activities do the two of you enjoy? As far as do you go on hikes together? Do you go on walks together? What has changed in your relationship that is so evident as a result of changing your eating?
We've become more closer. We usually go because in the past everyone was doing his own stuff, but now that we've gone this way, we go when we go for walk, we go together and we start doing a lot of things together. So it's really cemented our relationship.
I love that. I think that's one thing that many people miss out on is the opportunity to really have a new level of intimacy with their spouse and just the activity level and spending time together and doing things that you feel joyful around. Now, again, I want to remind people, this is Kathleen Gage with Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show, and I'm talking with Olivier Mankondo, and you can find him at Olivier Mankondo, and I will put that in the show notes. You have a book, you're doing keynote speaking. Now, since the pandemic, how has that changed for you as far as keynote speaking? Because I know for me, that tanked in my business. I used to be on the platform all the time, and I can't do that. So I've taken it online, which, that was an easy transition for me. But what are you doing?
Yeah, so with all my speaking, all the speaking engagement that I've had for 2020, all of them have been canceled. So it's very, very difficult and it's frustrating, especially when you see that if people could look at their lives and change the underlying cause, we wouldn't be in this situation. Because when you take the medication, you are only suppressing the symptoms. You're not addressing the root cause. And if people want to change their way of eating, because it's very, very important, you change your way of eating, you change your the way you see life. Because for me, there's two aspects. There's the way you eat and the spirituality.
Okay.
You need to include that in your way of living. You need to be positive. You need to see life in a different way. And this will give you the correct way of living. Because when you are always under stress, you have negative emotions, you don't want to forgive people, you hold grudges, and all these things will make your system work properly. Because when you hold grudges against people, you can't forgive people, your body will produce adrenaline, which will make your heart beat differently, and your body will produce cortisol, which will impair your immune system. So when people incorporate all these things will be better. And that's why I don't want to stress myself, because I don't have a speaking engagement anymore. I'm just trying to see the good way, what can I gain from this, and try to live through it. Yeah, but it's been difficult.
You know, it has been, and pre-pandemic, it's like our business was just out there crushing it. I'm doing a great job. Yeah. And then the pandemic hit. And it's so interesting, because what I realize is, had I not been eating the way that I'm eating, I couldn't have handled the stress the way that I've handled it. And exactly. I can't say that I've been 100% perfect. There were days I'd wake up and I'd have anxiety. And so I would do a meditation. I would do my yoga. I have a morning protocol that I do. And I'm curious, do you have a morning protocol? Is there something that you do first thing in the morning to set yourself up for success during the day?
Yeah. First of all, when I wake up, I stay in my bed where I meditate for maybe 5-10 minutes. And then I go to my bathroom, I brush my teeth and all that, and I do some stretching exercises. And I come down, I'll go on the rebounder. I do that for another 5-10 minutes. And then after that, if it's school time, I will take my kids to school. I will drive them to school. And then when I come back, then I can start my business. And at night, before I go to sleep, I will meditate again.
Excellent. Excellent. And for somebody who's just starting out on this journey, because I have a lot of listeners and viewers who they're sitting on the fence, they know this is something they want to do, but they're not quite sure how to get started. What would you advise to somebody just starting out, 3 simple steps to move to the next level?
Yeah, first of all, what I will ask them is because I recognize that people cannot go cold turkey like me, where you just decide and you stop everything. What I will ask them, first of all, is to reduce the meat intake, the dairy product, the processed food, and especially the processed food for vegans, because when you look, you will see that a lot of vegans, they don't eat meat, dairy product, but they eat a lot of processed food. And this is as bad, it's very bad. So I will ask people to reduce the processed food, the meat, dairy product. I will ask them to start incorporating a lot of fruit and vegetables in their diet. And I will ask them to start drinking a lot of water and reduce maybe the alcohol, the coffee, and all this stuff. So that may be what I will ask them to do at first.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. And
to do exercise as well.
Absolutely.
To start moving. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because
that's
it's very
why
important.
I enjoy daily runs, where I used to go to the gym a lot. And honestly, I'm having a difficult time going back because they have so many restrictions. I used to go about 4 days a week, and I'd run probably 10, 15 miles a week, and doing both of those. And since the pandemic, and they shut down our gyms in the state of Oregon, and it's been open and close. And so for me, I haven't yet gotten inspired enough to go back to the gym, which I know that would be a real benefit. What would you advise to somebody like me that I know I need to go to the gym, but I keep putting it off?
What I will advise is I will ask you to look at the benefit benefit that this can give it to you, because when you will see that when you are moving, you are doing physical exercises, is going to enables you to flush out of the toxin out of your system. And the movement will be able to bring nutrients. So when you do exercise, it's very, very important. And being staying just at home, it's not a good thing that you're doing to yourself. And when you go out, you will have more energy and stuff like that. So I would really, really encourage you to do that, even if you feel a little bit lazy and stop it. Just put in your mind that this will give you better health.
It's interesting because it's not so much lazy for me, because I do go on a run. Like yesterday, I did a 3-mile run, and I live near a river. Okay. I live in a rural community. So I do a lot of movement, but it's just getting to the gym, because it's 7 miles away. I live in a very small farming community. So we have to drive to go to anything. And it's just like, getting in the car, going there. And then if they already have the 6 people in the gym. So I come up with all these excuses, which I know, you know, right now I'm pulling my own covers. But let's talk about your keynote speaking. What, let's say everything opens up, you can get back on the platform. What do you think would be your number one topic that you will speak on moving forward?
What I would like to speak on is maybe to try to make the connection with people so that they can link the way of eating with spirituality. That's why I would like people to know, because people need to understand that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience and not the other way around. And when you look at this pandemic, it's really the fear that is driving people to do what they are doing. But if they can understand that we are spiritual beings and we are here to have a physical experience, and we need to incorporate that in our lives and look at, for example, animals as sentient beings.
Yes.
And when we eat animals, they go through suffering. They go through a lot of negative emotions before they get killed. And all this energy will be transformed and will get to us. And that's why we get sick. And people really, really need to understand that. So I'm preparing a keynote about that subject.
I love that. That's such an important topic, and the whole issue of what we're putting into our body with the animals that have suffered. And you know, there's people who justify, and they say, well, I look at where my animal products were sourced, and they lived on, you know, loving farms, and it's like, a dead animal is a dead animal. The fear is the fear, the anguish that they go through, you know. So I think that's a myth that needs to be busted big time. So I just want to say thank you so much for our time together. And in closing, what are your final thoughts that you'd like to share with people?
My final thought is, what I would like to say is that when we are born on this earth, the most important thing that we've got is our bodies. It's our temple, and we've only got one body. So we need to do our best to be in good health so we can have a longer and fruitful life. People need to understand that we are the master of our lives, and we've got the power to change whatever we want.
I love it.
That's what I can say.
That's beautifully said. Thank you so much. This is Kathleen Gage with Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show. I've had the distinct privilege and blessing of talking with Olivier Mankondo, and we will put all of your contact information in the show notes. Thank you so much for the mission that you're on, for sharing what you've shared, and that you and your wife are doing this together. I think that's phenomenal, and I wish you the very best. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kathleen. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your commitment to an ethical life through plant-based food choices. The kind of choices that are kind to your body, the environment, and most of all, animals. Be sure to leave a review and rating of the Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show.